Go live on Facebook, live on your page, the Casey Samson Team. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Casey, where we are going to look at a couple of things. You know, it's funny. Every morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. You can't miss this. You can't miss this. This is important stuff. Once again, this is important stuff. So first thing I want to talk about, there's two people that are going to be speaking today. There's old Casey Samson, who's going to, poo-poo an idea, but I'm going to tell you why. And then there's the new Casey Samson, the Ted Lasso Casey Samson. We're going to talk about all the good things and all the nice things. And those of you that have seen Ted Lasso know what I'm talking about, okay? He's always positive, great guy. That's going to be Casey Samson number 2 on the second half of the show. So let's talk about one of what I would say is the worst ideas in real estate market, okay? Let me see how to put this. If you were going to sell your house, would you want to tell 5 people, 10 people, or would you want to say it to 10,000 people? How many people would you want to introduce your home to? Well, you'd want to introduce your home to 10,000 people, right? You'd want to tell 10,000 people because, you might hit that one person in a penthouse in New York City that would really love your house, and the only one that's willing to pay $1.6 million for. The only way to find that guy is to open it up to the biggest market you possibly can. Now, the way real estate works is there are 2 commissions. There's one for the listing agent, and there's one for the selling agent. So the listing agent may make 2 or 2.5% of the sale, and the selling agent will make 2.5% of the sale, right? So there are greedy realtors, greedy teams, and greedy companies that want both sides. They want to get the 2% or the 2.5% for listing it, or 3, and the 2.5% for selling. They want both sides. They're very greedy. Now for them, that's really good, right? Getting both sides is great. I mean, on $1 million house, that's $50,000, $60,000. Great for the realtor, bad for the seller. Because if it's called an exclusive listing, I'm just going to open yours up to my office, my friends, my buyers, my buyer pool, my internal buyer pool. Your internal buyer pool, I don't care if you're Debbie Dragle or the Reynolds team. Your buyer pool is only 5% or 3% of the market. That's all it is. I looked one time, the Reynolds team sells 5% of their own listings. Well, that's a tiny, tiny portion, but they're trying to introduce it to all their people. They're trying to sell it to their own agents. Debbie Dragle does the same thing, but that's introducing a listing to a very small group because they're trying to get both commissions. It is bad for the seller. It is good for the agent, okay? So we list a house. We want to see 10,000 people. Sometimes a buyer will come to us and say, we want to write the contract through you because there's going to be 5 contracts and you would have the inside track. And that's true. And because we may get both sides from time to time, then we keep our commissions low, 4.5, right? So that helps, and that's not a bad thing. But to introduce it to a market, to sell it, have you ever heard somebody say, I sold my house in 5 hours? I sold my house in 1 day, right? So I would never sell a house in 1 day. You can't. Let me say never, but it would have to be extenuating circumstances. Nobody else is looking at it. Nobody loves it. Nobody wants it. It's in bad shape. You're paying me more money. It's all cash. You got 100%, $100,000 deposit that's non-refundable. Would I take that after a day? Absolutely, I'd take that after a day. But under most circumstances, it's got to get through the weekend. We've got to have as many people as humanly possible. Why? Because one contract that may be a great contract is the only contract. I've already told everybody the most important contract is the backup contracts and the backup to the backup. Because if we have multiple contracts and the first person, for whatever reason, family emergency, cold feet, lose their job, sneak a home inspector in there and not like what they see, for whatever reason, if they kick out, you've got nothing. You got to go back on the market. Trust me, the hardest thing to do is go back on the market, right? So we need to not just, like, I'm getting ready to meet with sellers in half hour. Could we put it on? Sure. At this number? Sure. Could we probably get under contract? Yeah, chances are 80, 90% it's going to go under contract. But are we going to have a bunch of backup contracts? No. So we've got to drop it to another level so that we can encourage so many people that we have backup contracts and backups to the backups, because we don't want to get in that downward spiral of only having one buyer, right? Are we going to get our list price? Probably. So let me tell you the number. The number is 1.35. We're going to probably get it, probably one contract at where we're sitting right now, right? But the choice is, if we go to 1.3 million and launch coming soon, or launch our listing at that number, now you're going to have 25 people walk in, 4 or 5 contracts, 1.375, backup, 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 backup. So it's a lock to get to at least 135 plus 1.375 or 1.4. You know, you get enough buyers in there, 1.4. So anyways, so you have to take the safe route, and that is opening up to as many people as possible. So again, let's talk about this. You've heard me say predictive analysis. At 1.3, let's say our buyer pool is 130 people. At 1.35, it's 130 people. We want to open up the buyer pool in the MLS, right? 10,000 are going to see it, but the buyer pool is 130. So when you go to 1.3, the buyer pool goes to 240, 280, 300, 325, 350. So you see, the more people that are registered in that MLS, the better. So anyways, you know, the advice will, and again, I leave it up to sellers, but the advice is probably, I'm 80 to 90% sure we're going to get a contract at that number, but at 1.3, it's 100% we're going to get multiple contracts, get over the 1.35, and try and touch as close as we can to 1.4 and have backup contracts to be safe. So in this market, you're going to see what I'm talking about here in about 5 seconds. I'm going to move over to the next phase of this, the Ted Lasso phase of Coffee with Casey, and we're going to talk about visibility on the market. Okay. So anyways, the bottom line is exposing a house using exclusive listings, in-house listings, off-market listings, great for realtors, great for buyers, terrible for sellers. So if you hear somebody tell you the virtues, any virtues of off-the-market stuff, forget about it. Get another realtor. I had one client that was terrified of anybody even walking in their house. They fumigated us as we walked in the house. Now, these are people that do not want exposure to a big market. They just want this thing sold. And I don't blame you. So we did put it on the market. Nobody could go in. We did expose, but, you know, it was very tough. And we had somebody said, look, I don't, you know, they came in with a contract, we sold it. So that's a very, very limited time that I would do something like that. But, and all in all, Compass believes in exclusive, you know, listings that they could show their own agents. That is a horrible, horrible idea for sellers. So anyways, let's get on to the Ted Lasso side. Let's talk about, for a second, let's talk about visibility in the marketplace. Visibility is everything. If I'm trying to determine what's going on in a market, I need visibility. Now, you know that we do market snapshots, which gives somebody a snapshot of how many homes are under contract, sold, active, coming soon, and now we're going to start putting in withdrawals because there's going to be a lot more withdrawals. So we have these snapshots, and we do them by town and by price range. And you can get those at caseysamson.com by seeing market snapshot. Hit it. There's your town underneath. But something new this week that I think has given me even more visibility, which I need and my clients need. So let's talk about this. These are what's called the weekly updates. So this is what happened this week in the new home market in the last 7 days. Okay. Two have listed as sold. So now we know what the sales price is, right? So we know the sales price of these. This was at 1,579. It went down. So this tells me how much it sold over a average sale, 343. Why is that? Massey Court is hot. Those lots are expensive. That is the place in Vienna to build. Massey Court. So you got good, you got a good builder, you've got a great lot. It's going to get a premium. Down here in Gibson Drive, well, that's one of the inset cul-de-sacs where maybe 10% of the homes have turned into new homes, not preferred. So that home is going to sell at less than the average because you have the quality of the builder, the lot, and the upgrades are going to dictate the final price. So one, great lot, great builder, great upgrades. One, not a good lot, so-so builder. And it's just, you're going to pay less if you get into that neighborhood, right? So Hillcrest is a brand new active that's just come on. You can see that. You've got two that have gone under contract in the last couple of days, in the last week, and one that's withdrawn. So basically, you can look at this and say, we've had one withdrawal, one go active, no coming soons, two under contract. Pretty good, right? Pretty stable. Now, look at this. This is why we're doing weekly updates, okay? Now, this is Vienna. This is all of Vienna. And let's look at what's happened in the last 7 days. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 coming soons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 that have gone active, right? So you have 9 activate. You had 7, right? 7. So what does that tell you? And we only had in the last week 2 go under contract. So the week before, 7 days ago, it looks like pretty good market. Right now, it just swung in 7 days that you have whatever that is, 16 homes just came on the market and 2 went off the market. This withdrawal is going to grow, and it's going to grow big time, right? But in these things you can look at, and again, if you go to Market Snapshot, these weekly updates are the first thing you'll see. Vienna, Oakton, Centerville, Oak Hill, Aldi, Haymarket, Western Loudoun County, the markets that I have primary agents in. And we'll get other agents for other areas, but for right now, these are the ones we cover. But you can look in Vienna and go, oh my God, look at that inventory, right? Visibility is everything. Now, over here, how you want to read this is you could see, that should be 9. I don't know why it's 7. I mean, this should be 9. I don't know why it's 7. But you can see the summaries of how big the houses are on average, what their assessment was, what the percentage of assessment was, how much they were over assessment, what the price per square. So you see all the information of what's happening in that market, a quick summary. But let's say over here, and again, I've got this house right here. Where is it? Martineau. They're getting ready to go on the market, right? Okay. So we look at the other houses that are going on the market, say they're going on at 126, 128, 103, 111, 130. So are these really competitors? This is us down here, 103. So we're doing pretty good. The problem is, and again, you really got to do your homework here. This was elevated 28% over last year's assessment, which is wrong. Should only be up about 10% or 11%. So this number is inflated, which gives us an inflation here. So we got to be careful about that. But that's the one we're going to drop to 1.3 and launch it at that. But my concern with launching it is I've got 7 coming soons and 9 actives, right? That have just come on the market. So even though, let's say we're well priced and we look good, there's so many options available for buyers that it takes time for them to process. Well, why don't we go here? Why don't we go here? Why don't we go here? So more selection, even though it's overpriced, is still a problem, okay? So I think that if you're a buyer or if you're a seller or if you're an agent, this weekly update is critical. Now, Kevin and I can produce these in minutes. So we'll be doing it probably 2 or 3 times a week. So on our site at caseysamson.com, Market Snapshot, you'll see these right up top, weekly updates, Vienna, Oakton, and then have her put the dates that we updated them. But these will be within the last couple of days. And this is a 7-day snapshot that you're looking at, okay? So there's Vienna. So what do we know about Oakton? Well, or Oak Hill. Well, 2 are coming soon, 2 went active, and 2 went pending. So 33%, pretty normal market. Nothing really exciting is going on. You can see everybody's coming on at a pretty normal price, other than this guy down here. That must have been one hell of a house, because when they go in at 138, either the assessor is wrong or that is a Mac Daddy of swimming pool and all the rest of that stuff in their house. So we look at all the summary. There's Oak Hill. There's Oakton. Now, imagine what we just looked at with Vienna, right? Vienna had 25 houses coming in and off the boards. Very active market. Oakton, not so much. The 1 house went pending, 1 house went active, no homes coming soon, and 2 went from pending to sold. So very inactive market. And again, if you're a buyer, there's not a lot of inventory out there than in Oakton, right? So you need to know there's not a lot of inventory in Oakton, but look over at Vienna. Here's Haymarket. Johnny's out there. So, Johnny G is out there, and he's the expert and doing a great job. But their market had 1 go under contract, or 1 settled, 1 went under contract, right? Here's your pending. 1 withdrew, 4 came brand new active, and 2 came brand new. So look what they've got. 2, 4, 6 brand new homes just came on the market, and only 1 went off the market. So 14% of the homes went under contract. What does that tell you? That tells you that if you're looking at a home in Haymarket, that might be a problem. If you're looking for a home, you want to go into Haymarket, because now you're going to have some inventory. And if you're selling a home, you need to be very cautious. Look, they're all at about 18, 19, 120% of assessment. So they're all pretty close. So it's not like they're all, 130, 140% of assessment. It's not like they're overpriced. These are well-priced homes. So all of these in here are all well-priced. Look, the sale is at 115. The under contract is 116. And if you look at these guys right in here, the actives, they're at about 117. So well-priced. Look at the one that withdrew, 135% of assessment. He just was overpriced. They were asking too much. It is what it is. So, you can assess when somebody says, well, how's the market? Well, in Haymarket, you just got a massive amount of inventory that came in, right? If that's 2, 4, 6, 6 times the amount of homes came on the market that went under contract. Here's Centerville. Again, not a real active market. 2 coming soon, 2 active, 1 pending. And again, we can do this for any market. It doesn't matter. And if I'm going to talk to a seller in Alexandria, then I'm doing the Alexandria. I'm doing a market snapshot for Alexandria, and I'm doing a what's happened in the last week, so we know we can keep our finger on the market. When we're doing our predictive analysis, and for you agents that are now following the predictive analysis model that I'm doing, you really need to do this prior to you figuring out, am I at the right price or not? And again, there's a big difference if you're launching a house in Oakton with 1 active listing, or in Vienna where there's 16 active listings and coming soon. 16. So, when somebody says, how's the market? Which market are you talking about? Is it new homes? Is it Vienna? Is it Oakton? Is it Oak Hill? Is it Centerville? And then, and I'll take you on here in a second as soon as I'm done with this practice, but this is the newest, latest update you can get. It's called a weekly update for that first week. Let's go out to see Ferris. Ferris is out in Aldi. He specializes in Willisford, right? So let's look at Aldi. Now, remember, Aldi was at 95% of their homes were selling, quickly, right? They were selling very quickly. Remember how I showed you the chart that as the summer goes on, the success rate goes down and the amount of withdrawals goes up? Remember I said that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are coming on the market. one went under contract. So one came under contract to every 7 that came on the market, and 2 withdrew. So more houses withdrew in Aldi in the last 7 days that went under contract. So, if you come over here and look, is it price or condition? I mean, if the average contract is 111 and the average group that's coming on the market is 128 and the average withdrawal is 130, well, what does that tell you? They're really, as a group now, they're coming on a little high, right? And again, prices went like this, but in the summer they go like that. And what happens is these people are anticipating this when the market went like that. Now, this is the point where markets separate. And now we separate the really smart realtors and sellers from the people that are just saying, what do you want to sell it at? 1.25 million? I'm all good with that. Let's do it. I don't have a listing. Let's get this sucker rolling. Remember, realtors make money listing homes. I believe they make money when they sell homes, right? Not when you list them, but when you sell them. So I'm not interested in getting listings. I'm interested in selling whatever listings we have. That's the main point. So if we look over here in Aldi and somebody asks you what's going on, well, out here, 7 are coming on the market, 1 went under contract. So you better be very cautious. You better have some concerns if you're going on the market. And Ferris, when he's talking to his sellers about pricing, has got to have this information saying we can't come out at 126 because that's not working, right? We need to come out somewhere in the teens. We need to get out there in the teens. We need to be very thoughtful about where we put this house on the market. So this is where you go to the Casey Samson Team. Market snapshot is right here. Just hit that word market snapshot and it'll take you to this page. This is the Vienna one that you just saw. These are all of the sites that you've just seen, right? There's Haymarket, Western Loudoun County, and all of that stuff. Now, if you want to get into a specific price range, and we update these on Friday, this is what that looks like, right? So between $1.5 million and $2 million, you've got this many on the market, 6, 7, and you've got 6 pendings. Pretty dang stable market. You look at these, what's on the market, what's not so, like Tapawingo, I already told you, this thing is like wacko high. This one's wacko high. So look at how high they are. So basically, all of these that are on the market, if I was going to come on the market with something in the $1.5 to $2 million range, am I concerned that there's 7 houses active? Hell no. Look at how high they're all are. They're all way overpriced. Look at how many days on the market. What have I told you? If you don't sell in the first 96, you got a real problem. You're looking at a property that's going to have 1 buyer. It's going to have 1 home inspection. If they kick out, you're screwed, and they're going to beat you up if you get beyond that 96. That's why you need to have multiple buyers in that pool. So if all of our homes that we sell are under in that first 6 days, what are these guys thinking? Now, where do you think they're all headed? Remember how I said that only 50% of them are going to sell and 50% of them are not going to sell? 50% sold, 50%. Most of these are going to withdraw unsold. Bank on it. They did it wrong. They overpriced it. They're way overpriced. Way overpriced. And they're just going to sit. So anyways, if you look down at the pendings, they're all in the teens. They got 2 that are actually wonderful house. Oh, by the way, this one on Annie's Way, that's our listing. So we sold our listing at 137% of assessment, higher than anybody, right? But you know where we started? I don't know if you can see it. That's actually, we didn't start at 1.5. We started at 1.4. I changed it to 1.5 after we got a contract for 1.53. So we just settled on 1.53. That'll be changed over here this week. So it's going to be even higher than that number. But we started at 1.4. Seller wanted to start at 1.45, but it didn't test well. It did not test well. So we dropped it to 1.4. Sure enough, plenty of contracts, multiple contracts, 130 over list price, no home inspection, seller's happy, and away we go. So is this a crisis market right now? Hell no. It's actually a seller's market because look, these guys are all overpriced. So how many effective listings do I have in that price range? 0. Actually, I just slipped back into old Casey Samson and out of the Ted Lasso thing. I should go back to Ted Lasso. So anyways, it's a great time to sell if you're in this market, right? So don't be worried about those houses that are all overpriced and just sitting on the market clogging it up. So anyways, that's a look at, let me get you out of here. That's a look at the visibility that people need to have in a market. You look at what's happened in the last week, overall what the market looks like. And again, our market snapshots go out on Friday afternoon. Kevin and I produce them in the morning. Julie gets them up posted by early afternoon. And that lets you know really where the whole market is. But if you want to know what the last 7 days have produced, in other words, look into the future, the coming soon of the coming soons, that's what you want to look at. You really want to get in those first 7 days, crack it. And again, we've got partners, agents, team members in Aldi, in Haymarket, in Centerville, and all of that. And we will build up. We'll get a partner that out in Ashburn. We'll get a partner in certain areas around here. And we'll start building this out so you can have more visibility in your markets today. My name is Casey Samson. You've been listening to Coffee with Casey. Thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate that. I've had a lot of great comments after last week's show, and last week's show was about reverse mentoring. So I'm going to bring that up one more time. I've got 2 minutes. Reverse mentoring is the old people with their experience getting mentored by young people that have all the new technology at their hands. They're used to it. We're not. So our team is combined of older people that have a lot of experience and younger people that bring new technology, new techniques, new ways of communicating with the public. So the reverse mentoring is the older people need to listen to the younger people just as much as they're listening to us. So if you're young, respect the old and what they know, what market knowledge they have. And if you're older, you need to respect the young, and you need to team up with somebody that could talk about the new technology and the new communication techniques and how you present things. And it really should be a team. I mean, we need a team. We can't do it ourselves. I would be paralyzed if I didn't have an incredible team surrounding me. So my name is Casey Samson. If you need me throughout the week, I'm at 703-508-2535. My email is casey@caseysamson.com. To look at everything I've been talking about today, go to caseysamson.com and you'll see the market snapshot. Click the button and you're one click away from finding out what your market is doing in the last 7 days and then what the entire market is doing in your price range. See you again next week on Coffee with Casey. Bye now.